If you're looking to play a sorcerer in Elden Ring, then let me give you a head start. I'm going to show you how to get some really good items, really good spells, and a lot of runes nice and early to help you power through the early game and sort of get your bearings with it. So, first of all, we're going to start with the Astrologer class for the 16 intelligence. Now for a keepsake, I would always recommend the Golden Seed. It's really good at what it does. Really nice way of buffing up your flasks. Okay, now as we start the game, it's time for us to get to where we need to be. And to do that, first things first, we have to meet our inevitable demise. Now if you played the game before, you'll know how this goes, and if you haven't, then good luck, is all I will say. Okay, and once you die, you will awaken in this room, and we're very simply gonna follow the path out and up the elevator to the first Lost Grace outside. Grab this Lost Grace if you wish to come back in the future. I'm going to head up the stairs and leave through here. And running straight ahead, we'll meet our first Grace and NPC. Okay, once you've expended all the dialogue with Var, we're going to head for that church you can see straight ahead. And then once inside, we can grab this Grace too. I would also come this way and grab the smithing arm and talk to Caelid. And then from here, we're going to head left and we're going to follow this path. Now there are enemies you can kill if you want to, but essentially we're going to be running this way. We'll grab some runes and we'll make our way to the Lost Grace in front of the castle. Okay, once you've killed the enemy and sat down in front of the bonfire, you're just going to run directly behind you and over this little cliff. To the right you should have some ruins, and straight ahead, once you get further down, you'll see a little Lost Grace in the distance directly ahead of us. And once lit, we have to sit down and we need to expend all the dialogue with the next person. And we're going to use our Golden Seed to upgrade our flask. Once this is done, and we have our horse, we're going to fast travel back to the original Lost Grace, which is the Church of Ella. Okay, once you're back here, speak to the lovely Ritual Rani, and she'll give you some goodies. And there you go, you now have your spirit summons. At this point, we are going to head back, do a nice little circle, and head to the gate front. Okay, we have two objectives here. We need to grab the map first, so we're going to go here, and you'll see it's just on our little marker there. Now, honestly, it doesn't really matter if you die. We don't mind that. But what I would do is grab this, just like that, and then head back up here, and we're going to re-rest at the Lost Grace. What we're also going to do is, if it is still nighttime, we're going to pass the time so it becomes morning when there's less bosses around. Okay, the next point of call we need to do for our magic build is firstly, get our horse in our inventory. And then we're going to follow this path and we're going to curve around to the right. And we're just going to keep going straight. So coming up, we'll have a Lost Grace on the left. We're going to get that. And then we're also going to have a bridge if we keep continuing to follow the path. So here is the Lost Grace. And now, if we continue following the path, we're going to go over the bridge to the right and we're going to follow it down. Now on the bridge you are going to find an item just hanging over the broken edge here. We're going to try and grab that item. Now when you get to this little curve we have here, we're going to curve to the right. And we're going to jump up here to the left. And we're going to continue following this around, nice and easy. And at this little pole / crucifix, we're going to grab this gold pickled foulfoot. We're then going to turn around, follow this back down, and go straight ahead until we find a chair that has another item on it. It should be directly ahead of you like this. We're going to turn back around and very simply get back on the path, and we're going to follow it around until you get to the next location, which I will show you. Now when we get to this area, things are going to be a little bit more tricky. We're going to try and maneuver ourselves over the bridge. Now, I find the best way to do this is to keep curving and jumping, because unfortunately they do have a ballista that will target you. You can hear when the ballista is going, so just make sure you've got it. And very simply, once you're at this point, the ballista can't hurt you. If possible, you are going to grab this item here. It's another somber smithing stone. Oh, sorry, a standard smithing stone. And on the left here, you'll see an NPC, and that is when you know you're going the right route. Now, you can talk to her, that is part of the quest line. We're not going to worry about this to give you a head start, though. We're just going to follow this down, and the item we want is inside this broken down building, or carry truck thing. So first of all, grab this golden rune, that helps us a lot, and we're going to grab the morning star. And this is going to come in very handy shortly. If possible, grab the smithing stone too, and then we're just going to try and get out of danger. Okay, once you're out of danger, we're going to come back to the Agil Lake North site of grace. This is just before the bridge we crossed. And what we need to do is we're going to mark this little crossroad here, and we're going to follow this path down. Ideally hitting this map if possible. So, first marker is what we're going to aim for there. And then once you get to your marker, we're just going to curve round to the left. And then we're going to follow this down until we curve to the right. And now by following this path, you will see there is a lost grace just here. We're going to collect this, so we have a nice little marker. And we're now going to aim for our map piece to make life easier for all of us. Now, please be careful of bears. They are very tough in this game, and they will one-shot you and chase you down. So we're going to have to do this quickly. Again, doesn't matter too much if we die. But try and grab any items you can on your way. As you can see there, that bear almost took out my entire health pool. But once you've got your map piece here, we're going to grab this. If you press the right button, and then we're going to go to the left, and we're going to follow the path around here. You'll know you're on the right pathway when you see this little candelabra, or whatever you want to call it, on the left hand side. And we're very simply going to follow this pathway around. And again, if you die, don't worry. Now what you should do is be finding yourself coming this way, and we're effectively aiming for this spot here. So if you find you don't want to collect your map piece and then make your way there without checking your map, just get out of danger, fast travel back to the Mistwood, and you can follow this pathway around. And once inside, we are going to pop this. And we're going to collect all the items inside. Got a lovely sacred tear. And this will be our Flask of Physic, which is just a very powerful flask, which I'll show you quickly now, that you can put abilities into. For example, if we were to come in here, we'll increase the amount we've replenished by our sacred tear. But more importantly, we can mix our Wondrous Physic, and we can put this inside it. And then there's still another slot here. And you can get many of these little tiers throughout the game, and they all do different things. As soon as you drink the Physic, or this flask, they'll do it for you. Now talk to Melina if you choose to. Now please note, your Physic Flask is different from your Crimson Tears. They are both healing abilities, but they are different, and the Physic is slower to drink. So just bear that in mind. Let's get over here. Ideally, we need to aim for this little slot here. And so to do that, we are going to play it safe, and we're going to travel back to the gate front, and we're going to follow the path up, and when we get to about here, we're going to try and turn off. We're going to follow the pathway down. And now this will be a bit of an adventure, but it is 100% worth it, because it is the safest and easiest route I have found so far. So put one marker here, which is number 2, and then if I was you, I would place another one just about here, just to make sure you know you're going on the right track. Grab your next golden seed just here, and continue forth. If you want to, you could explore this way, but I'd recommend just sticking to the pathing I'm showing you. Now to make things easier, grab this Grace here. That will reset all the enemies. And again, talk to Melina at the Grace. We're just going to skip through that. Grab the items here. And talk to the lovely Roderica over here. Now, that we got to this point of mark here, our next one is we're going to follow our next marker. So if we're to remove that, we're going to place it just about here. So now aiming towards number 2 again, which is just over here. And we're going to follow this path. Now please be aware there are a lot of enemies en route. I'd recommend for now just running past them, because they will hurt. You're going to go through the little camp here. And before you pass the bridge here, we're just going to grab this lost Grace. Okay, now you've made it to the bridge, we are just going to follow the path. We can go through the water, and very simply we are just going to follow the road all the way around until we get to our next marker. It is a journey, but it's nice and easy. Now grab any Graces on the way, as it'll make life easier for you when you come to explore the areas again. And just run through the boss and they won't be able to do anything to you. Okay, instead of following the curve, we are going to keep going straight and we're going to take this little path on the right, just because there is a NPC invader there that will force you off your horse to fight, and they're going to be a bit too powerful for us. But just go straight there, and then re-get to the pathway, and we want to jump over the flames here. And again, we're going to grab the Lost Grace just here. And we're going to continue on our adventure by following this pathway around. Now this is a higher level area, so a lot of things will hurt you instantly, and you'll see just how weak our staff is. But if you want to, you can stand here and you can farm some stuff with your magic. Especially if you use the arc like that, you'll pick up a lot of runes. And if you don't want to do that, or if you've had your fill, just keep following the path. Again, we're going to keep grabbing any Lost Grace we think we might need. Now as you can see, our marker is over there, which means we have made it most of the way to where we need to be, but we still have a little bit to go. So let's grab our Lost Grace here. And essentially we just need to get to the bottom of the curve down here. So just going to keep going straight, following this path. It will curve to the left, and you'll see a big old swamp, and there's a Lost Grace just before the swamp, but that is essentially where we are heading. Because in this area is the best early game staff and one of the best early game spells. And both only require 18 intelligence to use, which is really, really good, and they are so helpful to get you through these early bosses. Now eventually as you make your way into this area, you're going to see a map piece down here, and that is what we're aiming for. So we're just going to run up here, and we're going to grab this. And that is going to open up the whole area for you. It's just past the dragon, but this is sort of like a safe zone here, so you should be okay. Now with your map found, the area we need to go is this huge spot here. So we are looking for two things. Now one of them is up in this direction here, and the other one honestly is not far behind it. So remove any markers you already have on your map, like such. Now the staff we want is going to be roughly in this area here, and the spell we want is roughly in this area here. So you sort of want to go here, and then go about 1 to 2 o'clock, if you were looking at obviously a clock, to get your location for this one. And this is effectively where we're about to head into. Now, please stay on Torrent, because Torrent doesn't get affected by the poisonous water. And we're basically looking for a bunch of ruins, and that is when you'll know you're in the right area. Now if you want, to the left here, there is a Lost Grace. You can grab this if you want to, just in case you do happen to die. And you're just looking for 2 items. The first one should be up this staircase, just in here. Now again, these things are poisonous, try not to worry. And that is the meteorite staff. There's also golden rune 4s in there. And then you're going to go to your next marker, and around here should be the rock throw spell. Now, we are all the way down here, so we're just going to check out here quick. And in this one here, our rock sling. If we were to open our map, you can see it's just here. So, if you take your Grace and just go straight up, almost to the point, you'll see it's just about there. And now we have 2 of the best items for an early mage build. What we can do is we can fast travel out of here, and we're going to head to the 3rd Church of Marika. Now, if we just look at the equipment quick, it is very, very good. Now, unfortunately, we do need 18 intelligence to build this, and 18 intelligence to equip the spell we just picked up. Obviously, sitting at just 16, we need a way of getting these runes. And it starts with the Morning Star. So we're going to equip this. We need 12 strength. We currently have 9, so we need 3 levels of strength. So we're very simply going to pop as many runes as you have, or farm as many enemies as you need to in that little area I showed you, where you can just throw out your glintstones. Now, Melina will often take you to the round table hold. You can do this if you choose to, or you can wait, but you will eventually want to go there. And we're just going to bump our strength up to 12. We need a little bit more, and there you go. This now means we can equip our lovely Morning Staff, and we can utilise the bleed feature. So, next point of call. From here, we're going to just go up into this little river here. We're going to place a marker just here. And we're very simply going to head straight out towards the giant here, and curve to the right. And then somewhere in this giant pool of water, you will indeed find a little teleporter. And we're about to get ourselves a bunch of runes. And now we're in Grael's Dragon Barrow, and there's a huge enemy in front of us. But don't fear, we're going to go straight. And first point of call is we're aiming for this golden tree just in the foreground here. Collect the golden seed from it and keep going straight until you get to this bridge here. Now, there is a Lost Grace you can see just there. I would suggest collecting that. Once you've done that, continue over the bridge, and we're going to run past the dragon, and we're just going to follow the path. Now you should be able to outrun it pretty easily. And then once you're over the bridge, we're just going to follow the curve around again. And essentially we want to aim towards this giant tree here. And we're going to jump down and see these giant pots. This is what we're aiming for. So jump into here and follow this path. Now, by this big cliff right in front of us, we're going to turn right, and there is a spring step. And you can use these to jump up with Torrent, and it's these giant wind things here. Just like that. At this point, we're going to aim towards this castle. And this part of this video works on any build you have, as long as you have a bleed weapon, which would be the katana. There's a dagger called Reduvia you can get early on, or the Morning Star here. And effectively, we're going to kill this dragon in front of us. Now before we do that, we are going to equip our gold pickle foot. We're going to have it ready in our inventory. And we're going to want to pop this when the dragon is very, very low on health, because it gives us extra runes. But effectively, this is a sleeping dragon that will not get triggered, and we can just very quietly and repetitively kill it. Now this is a long process, hence a bleed weapon, because bleed does a chunk out of their health pool instead of a set amount, as you can see just there. Okay, once you've got it kind of low, it takes about 30 hits for a bleed to trigger, I believe. You're going to pop your golden pickled foulfoot and keep swinging for the fences. And there you go, once it's died, and you have the little symbol for the foulfoot underneath your stamina bar, you'll get extra runes for killing it, and you'll get a lot of them. There you go, about 90,000. Now remember, we only need 18 to equip our staff and use our spell. So, we're going to come back here, and this would be my recommendation for levels. I'd start with your 18 intelligence, probably bump up to 20. I'll then probably put your vigor up to 22. Mind helps with your spells, so I'd probably put this to about 20, and then I'd purely buff your intelligence to 25. This would be my recommendation. This allows you to then go to your spells, and we could get rid of Glintstone Arc, for example, and put Meteorite Strike in. We can then also equip our new staff, just like that. And next up, we're going to go to the Round Table Hold, if you haven't already, and we're going to upgrade our staff a little bit with the Somber Smithing Stone we picked up on this journey. So as you know, when we first tried to kill these enemies, it took 2 to 3 pebbles to kill one. If I show you now, with this staff, one will almost kill an enemy, if not break through their shield and kill them. Rock Slaying will absolutely eviscerate enemies early on in the game. If we were to show you on this gentleman, who sat down, just like that. And the big guy here will show you how much damage this now does. Half its health pool. So I hope this guide has helped. If you want a part 2 for more stuff to do and where to go from here before you even tackle your first major boss, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out amazingly too. And hopefully, I'll see you in the lands between. Bye guys.